the Aasgaard free kick towards the end. I mean, I don't know about you, right, but it was like one of the best free kicks I've ever seen. But my overriding feeling, and I'm sure it's the same for the Rangers fans, was that you almost wanted them to keep that quality of free kick. You know, I kept that for an Old Firm game or a cup final. I mean, today against Annan, the Scottish Cup, the fifth goal of a 5-0 win almost seemed like a waste. You know, that quality, but.
I must admit, sitting at the game, and you know, you've been there yourself, Scott, so many times. You know, when you're at the end of writing a match report and your head's down, you're just taking up this cursory glance when you see a free kick getting lined up, and I just see it out the corner of my eye flying to the top bins. I'm like, that's some strike. The goalie's a bit suspect. He's not really moved, and I get back down to Clark and just finish off my match report, and I've absolutely slaughtered the goalie, giving him a 3 out of 10 because he conceded 5 goals. Only get him and watch the replays and think, Chris, you can have 3 keepers in there.
I mean, no goalkeeper in the world. You could have put 2 of the best keepers in the world in goal. They still wouldn't have stopped that. I mean, in all seriousness, the movement to go to the ball, to get it up and down, the accuracy. I mean, pinpoint the top corner. I mean, it was like. I think in recent seasons, Rangers-wise, the only one I really would compare it to, remember Taverniers at Tannadice against Dundee United?
Whipping up and over the wall and just sort of comes down with it's at the ground like a dart, you know, that sort of rapid, sudden trajectory downwards.
That was a cracker. Taverniers at Parkhead was good as well. But I think Aasgaard's is the best at the lot in terms of the movement, as I say.
It flies into the side netting.
I know.
Almost, I mean, it's almost going sort of horizontal to the net at that point. I mean, it's not as if it's flowing through the net. It's flowing into the side net, and so it's almost sideways. It's like it's just the most remarkable free kick. It
just summed up Aasgaard perfectly. No, in terms of that technical, but we've said for the start, there's no doubt this guy has so much natural technical ability, but it's just the other parts of his game that he's got to try and put together, on a consistent basis.
I mean, I wrote a piece about him last week for the paper, and I think you are now starting to see signs that Danny Rose is getting more and more out of him. And I think, it's funny because that's the sort of thing that Rose get criticised for, that he's, his first 2 months, he's not developed, he's not improving the individuals. Yeah, he's improving the results the teams are getting, but he's not improving the individuals. I think you are seeing that. I think Chermitty's undoubtedly come on. Manny Fernandez has improved. Yeah, I'm not saying that I finished the article, that all 3 of them have got a long way to go, but I think you're seeing bit by bit Aasgaard certainly contributing more.
Yeah,
not just with the goals, which I think it's now 5 in the last 6 or 7 games, but his all-round game, he's more of a figure. He's making more impression in the 90 minutes.
I think the Aberdeen game was big for Aasgaard because you know yourself, when that team sheet came in at Pittodrie, I think most Rangers fans were looking thinking, this is not the type of game for Aasgaard. No, the weather was howling, freezing midweek, away from home to Aberdeen. Pitch wasn't the best. You're thinking that you don't play Aasgaard. No, he's a luxury player. You don't play him in these type of games. And especially off the back of getting hooked at half time against Celtic Park, a kind of similar type of game, kind of derby type game. But I think the Pittodrie performance was big for him, because I think that night, to be fair to him, and I've been critical of him this season, but to be fair to him, that night he stood up. He played. He worked really hard in that midfield 3. A lot of the work he had to do was kind of unseen defensive stuff, and at the same time, he occupied Leighton Clarkson that night, who Aberdeen were looking to kind of get them playing. Did that very well, and at the same time was a real threat in the box again from set pieces. And he's proved that earlier this season as well with a couple of goals. So I think that was big for him, both in terms of his own confidence, but also just the confidence for the fans that they can actually trust him in a game like that. And that goes for the manager as well, because no doubt there'd have been wee doubts probably at the back of Danny Rowell's mind about playing him in that game, but it was short numbers, obviously, in the middle of the pitch with Conor Barron out. So, no, I think that was big for him. And you're right, a long way to go for Aasgaard, but there are signs there that he's improving. He's getting to grip with Scottish football. He's beginning to understand what playing for Rangers means, what's required. And if he can produce moments of quality like that the other night, albeit in a bigger game, a bigger stage, then again he's another one that he was getting written off at the start of the season. Probably hands up by myself included. He just didn't look as if he was going to cut it. But if he keeps going the way he's going, keeps developing, keeps improving, then he actually might become a decent player for Rangers.